okay? And you're going to go across, and you're going to go down, and across, and up. And before you know it, when you didn't think you could do it, you're doing 2 things at once. And you've added something else to your circle.
District 21 have been periodically checking out what Lynn has in her closet in the way of footwear. She has accumulated along the way. And you will not believe some of the shoes she had in there. And some of the things she has done in those shoes. This morning, we're going to show you those shoes we found most interesting and tell you about her escapade. And now I think Vicki has a pair that you would like to tell us about.
Yes. Now these are slippers. You know, Lynn's been working really hard as your district governor. In fact, she's working so hard that she visited my church. You need to rest some more, darling. She was so tired that she fell asleep during the sermon. And the preacher was up there and he said, all right, everybody that wants to go to heaven, stand up. And everybody stood up. Except me. So then he said, all right, everybody wants to go to hell, stand up. And Lynn woke up just when he said, hell, stand up. And so she stood up. And she looked around. And she said, well, preacher, I don't know what we was voting on, but looks like you and me's the only two going to be there.
Well, you know, she's been traveling all over the place in Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas, and she gets a little carried away sometimes. She doesn't pay real good attention where she's going, and so she was visiting one of the clubs, and she fell down the steps. And so she broke one ankle and stubbed her toe on the other foot, so she had to wear these for 6 weeks. And so here are her support shoes that she's had to wear from falling off the steps at one of the club meetings.
Bobby, do you have some Lynn shoe stories?
Oh, I have plenty of stories about Lynn. I'm only telling one today because she's been through this before. You know, Lynn belongs to very proper clubs. These ladies at home are super proper. They're the kind of ladies that go to high teas, they go to church on Sunday, they dress up. But on the road, these ladies have a different personality. And at the San Diego convention, some of my proper friends, and I'm very proper, were having lunch in La Jolla, where the rich people live. And we were just having a great old time, and we looked down on the beach. and there's a crowd gathered around these improper ladies. They were all in the water with their dresses up to here, no shoes on. I mean, splashing around, and people thought, who in the world is behaving like that? I looked down, it was Lynn's club. Who was in the middle of them? It was Lynn. So the next time you need a little beach shoes, the next time you go, so you don't cut your feet on all that nice, you know, healthy sand down there. But, you know, we know how you are on the road, and we appreciate you.
You have a story that you want to
I
tell us?
do. You know how Lynn is always telling us to stretch ourselves, and we're going to set these goals. She decided to sign up for the New York Marathon. And she wanted to be noticed, so she had these really fancy running shoes. Well, she got there, and she ran, and she ran, and she got tired, and she finally decided to head home. Well, on the way home, she stopped in Nashville and had a listening tour.
Quotarians, you know how Lynn always goes down to New Orleans, and she says she's going to CPA conference.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, right.
And it's always New Orleans. And she says that she has an office there. Does she really have an office there? I found out the truth. Her secret dream is to become a saint-sation. She wants to be a New Orleans Saints cheerleader. Every time she goes to New Orleans, she tries. She tries and she tries. But there's one thing that's holding her back. Take your shoes off. There is a height requirement to be a sensation. She is 2 inches short of that particular goal. Lynn, from my heart, I really want you to be a sensation. So I need you to see if these shoes, according to your twin, these are the right size.
Oh, how sweet!
These are your official New Orleans Saint shoes to try out one more time. One more time.
Well, I have knee-high socks on.
There they go.
There you go. Get the other one on. Let's get the other one on. We gotta go.
You need to wear those because now we can see you from the back of the
And not only do I wish Lynn the best of luck for her next tryout as a Saint-sation, I really hope the Saints do a whole lot better next year. So Lynn, good luck.
Well, I've known Lynn and Gwen for a long time. I think they were like maybe, I don't know, shorter than me. Well, Lynn being a CPA, you know, she was on one of her trips, and being a CPA, they asked her to help with inventory at one of their clients. So she said, well, sure, I'll help you do that. So they said, well, wear pants and good sturdy shoes. She said, okay. So they all met at the office, and they drove out to the place, and they drove, and they drove, and they drove. And she thought, where in the world are we going? The houses got fewer and fewer. She's thinking, goodness gracious. So then they pulled up this little place, and there was the office. She said, oh, great. But there was these big buildings off the side. She said, what are those? Well, Lynn found out. She was counting inventory at a dairy farm. Now, Lynn had to count one whole pen by herself. Now, cows, it's hard to count cows like this, okay? And it was packed. So she said, okay, I'll climb up on the their heads. Well, they kept ducking their heads, and doing this. And she said, well, I can't do that. She said, what am I going to do? She said, I know. She went in and she got an excrement kicker boot. And she counted their feet and divided by feet.
Well, you know she's done this act before. And after she was governor the last time, she called herself a used to be. But she went home and she got in that recliner and she propped her feet up and she wore these. And she acted more like the queen bee. That poor man Bill. I don't know what to think. He'll be like that again. And I'm going to give him back to you so I can remind you. You're still just a used to be.
That's okay. We're going to go home and gloat, though.
I think Rosemary Haney.
No, I think Joe Hale is.
Oh, she did?
Was it that bad?
I just got up into this moment because actually Lynn was my lieutenant governor. And then, of course, her twin sister, Gwen, was the president-elect. And so, you know, I feel like...
Rosemary.
Poor me. But, you know, it means that, you know, these are my little sisters. You know, except that you've just grown tall. You really, really are. But anyhow, I felt like when I went into her closet, I could look for more than shoes. But boy, I think y'all are going to be surprised about it. You know, who was it, Bernice? Talked about the fact that she thought she was down there dancing with the Sensations. Mm-hmm. Well, look what I found. I'm not sure where she was dancing in New Orleans, but I do know. Every time she came down, when we were the district officers, I have to tell you that we would meet in some kind of unusual places. Not normally in Baton Rouge. It was somewhere close to New Orleans. And even though Bill was right there, I thought, why is her husband always there? He's keeping an eye on that woman. And I felt like I could go into her closet and look for several things that go with that. This is not the one I'm showing. Okay, y'all can tell that I just woke up a few minutes ago.
Oh my! Oh yeah.
My trouts.
Her tryout suit. And not only that.
Oh yeah.
She didn't want to embarrass us because she was already a Quotarian, so she had on this skirt.